Today on the Wednesday Sports Report, this week may be the biggest home game of the year, and no college game day isn't coming. You want to know why? Well, we don't know either, to be honest.
Also, we have a special guest on the show today. Tiger TV's very own Courtney Allen is here in the studio. You will not want to miss that.
This is very true. Now, I know we're in the middle of football season, but basketball season, you know what's right around the corner?
We have a Heisman frontrunner in Leonard Fournette, and the Ben Simmons era is on the horizon. What a time to be alive, man.
You can say that again. Hashtag Future Hive. Am I right?
Right.
Anyway, the Wednesday Sports Report starts in 3, 2, 1. Cue the intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday Sports Report. My name is Derek Kopp. Alongside me is Max Hawkins. Well, Max, another week, another LSU win. I can get used to this.
It's crazy, man. And, Leonard Fournette wasn't even the leading rusher.
And, at least we can say that Steve Spurrier, head ball coach's last game, it was in Death Valley. I've got to love that. We'll always remember that. Well, let's get right into it, though. We got a big show for you today. Now, our top story today is that both the men's and women's basketball teams had their media day today, and we're finally able to answer some questions about the upcoming season. Plenty of storylines surrounding the team this year, and the expectations are sky high.
Just do better than last year. I think we want to get farther in the tournament than we did last year. But I'm just trying to take game by game and just do the best we can.
Just going out there and just trying to compete and not looking over anyone. Just trying to go out there and just win one game at a time. Just go out there and just play together as a team.
Now, we also got our first taste of number 1 overall recruit Ben Simmons, who was out on the floor practicing with the team in front of scouts from all around the NBA. Now, he also was able to talk to the media about the upcoming season.
Great about the team. We look really good. We've improved a lot over the past few months, just from summer school to here. So, I'm really happy with that.
Ben is he's a goofy guy, but a very fun-loving guy. He's great. If you were just around him, you wouldn't think he's this, unbelievable, number 1 talent. And that's something I think is pretty remarkable about him.
I'm happy I'm here. I'm blessed. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now.
On the football news now, LSU takes on the Florida Gators in a matchup that features 2 top 10 SEC teams here in Baton Rouge. These 2 teams from the SEC East and West divisions have a storied rivalry filled with some of the best moments of the last decade. Who could forget the moment when Jacob Hester scored a touchdown as time was winding down to close out the win in front of the home crowd in 2007? Last year, the excitement continued as the game came down to the wire once again. The Tigers ended up eking out the win 30-27 when Kobe De La Houssaye hit a 50-yard field goal with 3 seconds left to seal the win on the road. Now this year, the game has no shortage of storylines, with the biggest news being Florida quarterback Will Grier has been suspended for a year after testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Grier said, quote, "I took an over-the-counter supplement that had something in it." Now, the starting quarterback for Florida this weekend will be Treon Harris, who started the final 6 games of last season after being suspended in October 2014 for a rape allegation for which he was not charged. The team doesn't think there will be much of a drop-off, so the Tiger defensive backs may still have a challenge on their hands.
Now, speaking of defensive backs, the conversation of who produces the best defensive back talent in the country, it's been a big debate for the past 2 teams over the summer. Now, the video department from Florida released a video saying that they were the real DBU. Now, obviously, LSU didn't quite feel the same way. Now, LSU would respond with their own DBU video, but Gator DB Vernon Hargraves III still isn't having any of it, saying the debate won't really be that close as the season progresses. Now, let's break this down. The LSU defense allows 22 points per game as opposed to Florida's 14.3 points per game. As for yards per game, the Tigers have the advantage, and the most important stat on here, LSU is allowing less yards through the air than Florida. Now, Brandon Harris versus the Florida DBs, Treon Harris versus the LSU DBs. Who will the real DBU be? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait till Saturday to see.
When we come back, Courtney Allen is in the studio to talk about how LSU is leading the way in concussion technology. You will not want to miss that. We'll be right back with the Wednesday Sports Report. Stick around.
Hey everyone, my name's Courtney Allen, and I'm here today to tell you about some new changes inside LSU's football helmets. Last spring, the team experimented with high-tech mouthpieces to detect concussions. This season, they're changing things up a bit. Instead of the mouthpieces, 24 of the Tigers have what they call smart fabric inside of their helmets to monitor head injuries. Let's take a look.
Do you notice anything different about LSU's helmets? Maybe it's that they are plugged into walls, or maybe it's that they have a blinking light inside of them. LSU and Head Health Network teamed up to create a smart fabric in helmets to detect concussions.
We've put together a sensor system that really blends into the design of the helmet. You can't really tell that it's inside the helmet itself until you actually take the helmet apart and you look behind the padding.
When players receive a hit on the field, the information is transferred to trainers on the sideline in real time. As Curtis Cruz demonstrates, you can see that when pressure is applied inside the helmet, the location and severity is monitored on a computer. They keep a record of all players, documenting the number of hits taken during games and practice. Each player has their own profile to evaluate individual head injuries.
The sensors make a huge difference. We can look at them. If we see a hit out at practice, we can go straight to the computer and within 3 minutes, not even pull up, the force of the hit that guy took, where it was on the helmet, so that we can have these numbers.
According to former players, LSU does everything they can to keep them healthy and safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they're doing inside the athletic training department, to, kind of get that edge, get players back on the field faster.
Cruz says that LSU is a leader in head health technology, and they are always looking for ways to improve.
I've seen a number of different universities and professional teams, and LSU really stands out as being one of the 2 or 3 most on the forefront when it comes to doing things in a progressive way, stepping out and doing more than what is the standard.
For Tiger TV, I'm Courtney Allen.
If you want to keep up with me, make sure you follow me on Twitter @CourtneyandAllen. After the break, someone else has challenged Leonard Fournette, and Derek and Max will talk about maybe the most iconic moment in the LSU versus Florida saga. There's more of the Wednesday Sports Report right after the break.
Welcome back to the Wednesday Sports Report. We've talked about pretty much everything you need to know about this weekend's game. Now, we all remember how it went when Auburn safety Rudy Ford said stopping Leonard Fournette wouldn't be a challenge. Well, obviously that didn't go good for Auburn, yet people still want to challenge Leonard.
I don't understand it, but yes, Florida defensive lineman John Bullard said he's the best back in the league, but isn't anything that they can't handle. Speaking of calling out, let's take a look back at a great moment in LSU versus Florida rivalry from 2011.
That's my best chance right there, my best shot. An explanation is demanded. Oh, man, here we go. Got it wide open. Nobody wing. He's got a blocker in front. Rainey is back. No good. Touchdown. LSU.
Well, I mean, that's the classic.
Dude, I remember where I was at when that happened. I was at my grandparents' house, and when that happened, my grandpa was just like, "Oh, yeah." And he looked over and got called back, and I was like, "What?"
I couldn't believe that. I wasn't down here yet, unfortunately, for that game, so I didn't get a chance to see it. But all you saw on ESPN was the Brad Wing pulling it back. Couldn't believe of all players we're going to call the punter on that. But that's the Florida rivalry. I mean, that sums it up. It's always hard.
Yeah, it's always crazy moments.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, that's all the time we have for the show tonight. From wherever you may be, we thank you so much for tuning in. Now, next week, we will not be on air because Tiger TV will be covering one of the final governor debates of the election season, so stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 weeks, though, so clear your schedules and don't miss it.
Be ready for that. Now, also, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @TTV_sports for some more updates. For now, though, my name is Derek Kopp. He's Max Hawkins. We'll see you next week. Go Tigers.